Let's try that again. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Support. Thanks for joining us here on the live stream. Today, we are continuing our series of creating a website that wows. This is going to be part 3, where we're going to talk about customizing your portfolio galleries. So some of the things that we're going to talk about are grid styles and thumbnail options. And if you guys have any questions along the way, make sure that you get those in the chat so I can answer those for you live. I've also got some email questions that I need to get to, but some of the things we're going to talk about today, like I said, are grid styles and thumbnail options. We're going to get into talking about page options, captions, keywords, how to make sure that information is set to show so that you can actually get a benefit from that information being in your images. Then we're going to talk about dim the lights mode, whether to use that or the photos page, and kind of show you the different options that are available and what those different options do. Like I said, if you have any questions, make sure to get those in the chat. I see Roxanne hanging out with us. Hey, Roxanne, thanks for coming back every week and hanging out with me. I also see Mike. He says, hello, Robert, and Kapil. Hey, Robert and gang. So, hey, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. If you guys have any questions that you want me to make sure that I get, make sure to get them in the chat. If not, what we're going to do is just go ahead and jump into this topic here on customizing your portfolio. So let me switch over here. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and jump into this. So the past couple of weeks, like I said, we've been doing talking about creating a website that wows. If you missed any of that, there's a link in the description below this video where you can actually go back through the archives and watch those previous streams. So we talk about doing the initial setup, how to make sure that your account is set up, the fastest way to get all the information together that you need, and if I look a little sunburnt, I think I'm not feeling the greatest. So guys, I apologize if my color's off. Not a color balance issue, I don't think. I have not been feeling the greatest, to be honest, this week. I woke up the past couple of days with a sore throat. By the end of the day yesterday, it was bad. But I'm going to try to power through it today, and hopefully we can make it through this. All right, so the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about creating a website that wows. And like I said, you can watch the recorded versions of those streams in the description below in the archive. Today, we're going to be talking all about setting up your portfolio galleries. So we've got the portfolio galleries uploaded in here, and I've got them in this group right here. And some of the things that we want to do is go in, take a look at how these galleries look right out of the gate from the preset that we chose when we set this page up. We want to take a look at that, decide what things we like, what we don't like. There are going to be some options that we're going to want to show and some things that we're not going to want to show. Now, again, this is going to be for your portfolio galleries. So the suggestions that I'm going to be making today are going to be with that in mind, of just portfolio galleries. And we are... when we get to client galleries, it's going to be totally different. I'll be suggesting different things, and we'll be going through and setting those up, and that'll be in a coming stream. But today, we're going to be just focusing on portfolio galleries. So we have our galleries right here. And if you guys remember, we titled them the way that we wanted them to appear. And then just so you guys can see this, all the photos have titles here as well. And then if I click on a photo and I go to details, they have captions, they have alt image tags right here, and they also have keywords, and all of that is really important and really helpful to your SEO. Now, one of the things that cannot be imported whenever you import or upload these images into Zenfolio is the category section, and that's a specific thing right here. So you want to make sure that you go back through your images and as you get time, and select these categories for these photos. So you can just go right here and you can say something like, and let me get myself out of the way here. So we're going to go right here and choose category. We'll say people, and then there's some subcategories that pop up, like let's see, we've got portraits or romance. So we'll just choose romance for this because this is an engagement session here. So we're going to choose that option and then click save, and that has categorized that image. Now you can do this for all of the images at once if you want. You just hold shift, select the first one, scroll down, find your last image down here, wherever it is, and then you can categorize it that way as well, and that will save you some time. So once you have your images categorized, then what you're going to want to do is, let me get right here. Actually, give me 1 second. Let me get this out of here. Just minimize my screen a little bit. Sorry, I like having my screen really big, and sometimes it hides options. All right, so we're going to click details to make that go away. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open this gallery into customize view so that we can look at the options that have been applied to it by default from the preset that we chose. So in order to do that, we're just going to click on the gallery right here. And then we're going to hover over this preview button. Don't click on it because we want to get this in a new tab. That way we can jump back and forth if we need to reference different things. So we're going to right click on this preview button and we're going to select open link in a new tab. And as you guys can see, let me drop this down. That popped up that gallery here in this other tab, and this way I can just jump back and forth between them. All right, so we're going to do that. We're just going to jump over to this one. And what this did was it opened the preview of this gallery, and now we need to load it into customize view. So we're going to hover over edit, and then we're just going to click edit page. All right, and so now some of the things that we're going to be talking about now are going to be the grid content, and not the grid content, I'm sorry, the grid styles. So every preset has a gallery set up the way it's going to be set, and there are different grid options that you can choose from, and based on the content of your gallery will depend on which specific grid style might work best for you. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that first. So that's going to be under options right here, and then you're just going to go down here to grid options. Now you might have to uncheck the default button right here so that you're able to edit, but then go down here to grid options. And there's 4 different grid styles that you can choose from. Now these grid styles, like I said, do different things, and some of them work better than others depending on the content of this gallery. Grid D is going to display everything in a smaller style and kind of a uniform looking grid. Makes the images small. I'm not a huge fan of the grid D. Grid C is really good for product shots, things like that, where all of the images, maybe you even crop the images to be square. But grid C is going to display it in a square style grid. And the one thing to keep in mind about grid C is that if your photos are not square, it's going to do some cropping to your images when they're viewed by your clients. So that's one thing you want to be aware of when you're choosing grid C, but it does give a really good uniform appearance. Now, grid A and grid B are the ones that I prefer. And depending on the content, I might choose A over B, or I might choose B over A. So the difference between these two is they're both collage style grids. So they're going to mix your images together on like a collage style looking grid. Grid B is going to make your portrait orientated images height match the height of any landscape orientated photos that are in that gallery as well. So the thing that I consider when trying to decide which option I want here is that, is it going to be really important to have the images that are landscape orientated to be larger, and that way it's easier to see the subjects in those landscape orientated photos? Or does this gallery contain mostly portrait orientated images, and there's a few landscape orientated images in there, but I would rather the portrait orientated images kind of take center screen and be larger? And if that's the case, you want to go with grid A. Most of the time, I usually choose grid B because I want my landscape orientated images to be the same height as my portrait orientated images. That way the subject matter that's in that landscape orientated image is easier to see. And that's why I usually go with grid B. Now next are going to be our grid options here. These are how we can control the height and the size of the images that are in this, as well as the spacing between these. So what I recommend doing right out of the gate, first of all, is figuring out which grid style you want to work with. So what I'm going to do is choose grid B, and we're just going to leave it set the way it is really quick and hit apply. And let me get myself back out of the way. We'll hit apply. That way you can take a look and see what this looks like in its current state. So this is grid B, and as you can see, this particular gallery does not have a lot of portrait orientated images. It actually doesn't have any in here. And so for this gallery, grid B works really great because it kind of makes everything look nice and uniform. Down here, it kind of mixes in these two and makes them a little broader so they fit nice and neat. But let's try out a different grid style just so you guys can see what the other grids look like. So if I go back up to options, and we go with grid C where we have this square aspect right here. Now you can change the aspect ratio around. If you want to make them all horizontal, you can change that thumbnail width and height right here. So you can control the shape of that preview image. But again, just keep in mind that it's going to be cropping your photos. So let's go ahead and try this out just so you guys can see what this looks like. We'll click apply and take a look. You're going to notice some cropping on the images, and it does fit it in there a little nice and neat. But like I said, you can definitely see the cropping here and over in here on these different images. This grid works great if your subjects are dead set in the center of the images and you want it to be really nice and uniform and clean looking. This grid works really great for that. I don't have a lot of things that are like that, so I tend to use the collage style grids. So let's go ahead and set this back to the collage style grid, and then we'll talk about some of the other options that are in here, such as the page options, getting rid of this mess that's kind of displaying over the photos that's a little distracting, different options like that. So we're going to go back up here to options, and we'll swap this back over to grid B. And we'll just apply it. We'll take a look. We'll see what we like. And if you guys ever see this, it is a browser cache error. One of the things you want to do is just do a shift and a refresh like I did. So I held shift on my computer, hit the refresh button. It'll clear out your browser cache and should take you right back here. Now that's only going to clear out the browser cache for that specific page. If you continue seeing that issue on different pages, go ahead and actually do a clear cache in your browser through the browser settings. So just to show you how to fix that. All right, so we're back here on this grid. And if we wanted to add some more spacing between the images, maybe we want to add a little bit of spacing here and just put some more separation between the photos. We can do that again under grid options right here. And then right here, there are two options that you can use: spacing between cells and the inner cell padding. Now the difference between the two is that the spacing between the cells is going to be this spacing right here. And the inner cell padding is, there's actually information that you can have inside of the padding of the image if it's showing, and you can kind of add some space in there. Well, let's go ahead and just bump up the spacing between the cells. So let's go here and let's do 50. Going to kind of exaggerate it a little bit just so you guys can see what this does. So you can see it definitely increased that space. Also, it made the images a little bit larger, but it definitely changed the look of this gallery. Right here. So let's go back, options, and we'll just set this back to auto for now. Now, if you want to add some margins around your photo, let's say you feel like your photos are a little too tight to the edge, maybe you want to push them down, there's an option right here to do that as well. And you guys can see my face is getting redder as I talk. Hopefully I'll be able to make it through this without getting sick. If I switch to a scene that says technical difficulties, just hang out for a second. I'll be back. It's probably just me taking care of something or getting water because I'm just not feeling well. Okay, so the margins around the grid right here, that will push your images in. So for instance, maybe we want to squeeze our images in a little bit, make the page a little bit longer. If we put information here in the left padding and the right margin section, that's going to squeeze our images in. And again, I'm going to over exaggerate this just so you guys can see what these options do. So going there and then going to click apply. And now you're going to see that these images are going to be squeezed in from the edge here. And so it kind of pushes them in. And it's just something that you can play around with to really get this grid looking the way that you want. So just something to play around with a little bit there. Let me go back to options, and we're going to just set these all back to 0. And then let's start talking about the other stuff on this page that we like or that we don't like. One of the things that you guys want to think about with your portfolio galleries, obviously your SEO, and also information to your clients. And for portfolio galleries, especially if these are the first galleries that your potential clients are going to be accessing and getting to, there's a great way to use the gallery caption to kind of provide that type of information to your clients. If you want to, talk about the type of work that you do, if you want to talk about the locations that you shoot, if you want to talk about what the experience of doing a photo shoot with you is like. The gallery caption's a really good place to put all that kind of information because people that are in your portfolio can see that. Now, not only can they see that, but that gallery caption is also visible by search engines, which is going to help your SEO. And as you can see right here, I've already given this a gallery caption. And this was just something that we did last week where we made a link to it. Obviously, you're going to want to put a lot more information in here than just that. So let me jump back in this other tab to show you guys where to put the gallery caption information at. And then I'll show you how it changes here. So we're going to jump back in this other tab. We're going to click on the gallery right here. Then I'm going to go to details. And just like your images can have captions, keywords, categories, your galleries can have all of this as well. And the gallery caption is what displays on the thumbnails page. So when you're thinking about the thumbnails page, you need to think that that page is what relates to the gallery. Yes, it contains the images that are inside of that, but the main set of information is what's in your gallery details. So right here is that gallery caption, and I'm not going to really type in a crazy caption in here. Like, I'm suggesting that you should definitely put in a lot of good information in here. Again, the type of photography you do, the locations that you shoot, what the experience would be like, anything that one, potential clients would be interested in reading, and two, that's going to help your SEO when search engines find that information and index it. That's the kind of things that you want to put in the gallery caption and also in your keywords. But for this one, I'm just going to put this is the gallery caption right here. I'm going to put a little period there, and we're going to hit save. And that saved that gallery caption. And then I'm just going to click details and then jump back over in this other tab so we can see this. Now you can see where it says this. When I hit Command and R on my keyboard to refresh, watch, the gallery caption is going to change right here. Now, if you're captioning your galleries and then you're going and you're looking at them and you're like, well, I put a caption in here, but it's not showing, that's because sometimes some of the presets don't have the gallery caption option set to show. And this is why we're talking about page options and how to customize this. So in order to make sure that your gallery caption is showing, you're going to jump up here to options, and then you're going to come right here to page elements. And this is what controls the different elements that are on your actual page here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and you're going to look for caption right here. And you want to make sure that that is set to show. If it's set to hide, go ahead and flip it over and set it to show. And then you can kind of choose your alignment of how you want it to align up. If you want it to be left aligned, center aligned, you can choose all of those options right here. Now, since we're in this, we're talking about page elements, let's go down through the list and talk about these other elements that are here. And just to give you a brief idea of my personal preferences for portfolio galleries, usually I specifically try to set them up and make them super clean. I don't want a lot of overlays on the photos. I don't want a lot of extra buttons to distract the clients. I want them to see that bit of information that I provided there for them. Take a look at my work. That way they can quickly decide, is this somebody that I want to work with or not? And then from there, I want to be encouraging them to get into either contacting me or something like that. Preferably contacting me so we can start scheduling and setting up a shoot. So for that reason, a lot of this stuff down here, I'm going to set to hide. Down here, if I scroll down to the bottom, not to the bottom, but scroll down to the next section, there is select photos button. That's this option right here. No reason for that to be here. I don't want my client selecting photos. I just want them viewing these portfolio images. So I'm going to hide that button. Now, a step back up here, categories and keywords. If you categorized and keyworded your gallery and your images, you want to make sure that this is set to show so that you get the benefit of that showing. So that's going to be showing there. Now, the nice thing is that Zenfolio realizes that it's not going to look that nice if you have keywords showing all over your galleries. So even though we've got this set to show, it's nice and tucked away down at the bottom of the gallery where it's not in your visitor's face. It doesn't look like a mess, but it's still actually readable. And that means that search engines are going to read it and use it to index this. And that's going to help you rank better on searches by making sure that this type of information is set to show. So I'm going to make sure that's set to show. Number of items, I'm going to hide that. Slideshow button, I'm going to hide. Share button, I might leave that share button up there. It's nice to make an easy way for people to share this. Maybe you have somebody that landed on this and they want to refer you to somebody. It'd be nice to give them an easy way to share that portfolio out. Now, the share button does not share your images out of Zenfolio. What it does is it will share a link to the gallery. So if they share it on their social media pages, it's going to just share a link back to this gallery in your Zenfolio account. It's not actually going to share the images out. So I'm going to leave that set to show. Let's see, the Facebook like, tweet button, all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and hide that for now. And then the rest of this stuff as well, like date created, all of this stuff. I just don't want this stuff showing up on here. I want this super clean. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is come down here to thumbnails, and this is what's going to control the thumbnails and how they look and the overlays that are over the top of them and different things like that. So what we want to do again is make sure that this gallery is super clean. I don't want people getting confused trying to figure out what this button does. I want them looking at my images and then contacting me, with this being my portfolio gallery. So what we're going to do is make sure that a lot of this stuff is set to hide. Now, if you want to show the title, you can. That will help your SEO. However, on the photos page, the title is going to show as well. So I'm going to go ahead and set this title to show, and I'm going to show it below the photo mat. That way you guys can see what this looks like, but then we can come back and try out a couple of the other options to see which one might be better. Now, social media icons, I'm going to hide all this because this is that stuff that kept overlaying when I was hovering over the images, and I do not want that to happen on my portfolio gallery. So I'm going to hide all this stuff. And then down here at the bottom, access control icon, all of this stuff I'm going to hide. Again, this is a portfolio gallery. It's not for a specific client. Nobody should be saving favorites out of this. And I don't really care about the sequence number. So all of that stuff I'm going to set to hide. And then guest book, I want to make sure that's hidden as well. And then we're going to click apply. So now this page should look a lot cleaner. If I hover over the images, none of that stuff pops up. Here's the gallery caption. All of those random buttons that were up here are gone. And I'm already a lot happier with the way that this is looking for my portfolio. Now, the title of the images are showing down here below. Again, that's helpful for your SEO because search engines look at information that's actually viewable to the visitor. However, if you feel like that might be a little too cluttered, you can definitely set that to hide as well. And you can also set it to be a hover overlay. So let's go back to options, and we're going to go to thumbnails, and we will set this to hover overlay right here and hit apply. And you can take a look and see how this one looks. So right here, the images are clean. If you hover over it, it just pops up and gives that little title. Or if you want to just turn it off, you can just turn it off and set the title to hide right here. That's going to be kind of a decision that you want to make as the photographer. Is hiding the title and making the gallery clean looking, does that outweigh the fact of the titles being there and potentially helping your SEO? one of the decisions that you're going to have to make on which route you want to take there. All right, so once we get this grid page and this thumbnails page looking the way that we want, the next thing that we need to start thinking about is what happens when clients click these images, and what do we want that experience to be like. Zenfolio provides you with a lot of different options. There is a mode called dim the lights, where it just brings the image up really big on the screen, and then there's a mode called photos page. So each mode has its ups and or its pluses and minuses. I'm going to show you how to change those options and kind of tell you the benefit of each option. So first, in order to decide how these photos open, what we're going to do is go up here to Options, go to the Thumbnails page tab. And by the way, if you go to your thumbnails page and it's kind of grayed out, you need to make sure that you turn on the thumbnails page here. But this is where we select what the experience is like for the clients when they click on a photo from the thumbnails page. And if you're wondering, I definitely recommend having a thumbnails page at least for your portfolios. If you want to turn it off for the client gallery, which I personally don't recommend, I really like the thumbnails page. I think it's super easy to use, helps clients browse their images quickly, but you can turn it off. I usually recommend leaving it on. But here are the two options that you've got here. So open in photos page or dim the lights mode. Let me show you what dim the lights mode does. So let's go down here and click apply. And then when we click on a photo in dim the lights mode right here, it's just going to pop it up on the screen like this. And now your clients can hit this little button right over here and go to the next photo, or they can use their keyboard and use their mouse buttons and navigate through the photos as well this way. I love the presentation of this. I love the cleanness of it, how it's not distracting, and people can just quickly thumb through the different photos that are shown here in my portfolio. However, this option does not have any keywords, captions showing, none of that stuff. And so therefore, having this as your default option may not be as beneficial to your SEO. So I think this is where you want to make another decision. Do you want to have your thumbnails gallery really clean looking and then go to a page that's a little bit more SEO focused? Do you want to do both? Definitely some decisions that you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons to see which route you want to take. So the other option is, let me get out of this. We're going to click this little X button that's hidden up here. Right here's the little X button. We're going to hit that. And then we're going to go back up here to options. And now we'll say, let's open in photos page. And we're going to click apply. And so now what happens is when your clients click on a photo, it's going to take them to what's called the photos page. And the photos page has its own set of options that we can customize. So we're going to click here. And this is going to open up to the photos page. You can tell which page you're on if you're ever, curious about what page you're on and it looks different. You can see right up here in the top left corner, it will tell you what page you're on. And you can actually click here to navigate back and forth through the different pages as well. But now we're on the photos page. And let me just go full screen so you guys can see all of this. And like I said, there are lots of different options here on the photos page. So first of all is the layout option. So if we click up here for layout, there are several different options to choose from. I was playing around with this earlier to try to see which options that I liked. And while a couple of the options were nice, none of them really had everything that I was looking for as much as the right side thumbnails or the left side thumbnails did. So what I'm looking for in this photos page is something that still displays the main image nice and clean, but also shows my captions, titles, and categories and that information so that it's good for my SEO. So starting off with this no thumbnails one right here, I just didn't like the way that this displayed everything. Either down here is the title, but there's not showing any caption information, no keywords, none of that stuff. So in order to see that, I would need to come up here to options and then make sure that my caption set to show. And this one does not even offer an option for categories and keywords to show. And that's one of the reasons why I'm using the photos page, because I want those things to show. So for that reason, I didn't really like that layout. So let me go back to show you right side thumbnails. So let me show you the portfolio one really quick, because this was a pretty decent one here. We'll click on that. And just to take a look at what this looks like, it has the thumbnail images down here at the bottom, and then it shows the title of the image right here, the caption of the image right here, and your clients can kind of hide that. Now, what's not showing is the categories and keywords, and that's something that you have to turn on. So we go to Options, Page Elements, Categories and Keywords. We're going to set it to show, and this is where I stopped liking this layout, because it shows it all by default, and it looks like a big jumbled kind of thing over the image, and I was not a huge fan of that. So it didn't really work for me. If it would display like this by default and then have the little click option, I would really like that. But unfortunately, it kind of displayed like this by default, and I wasn't really liking that. So the next option that I tried was the right side thumbnail. So let's go back to that one. And this one kind of fit what I was looking for. So if I click on here and hit apply, it showed the image nice and centered right here. And then the other thing that it did was it had this nice little thumbnail section over here. And on the photos page, your clients can also navigate with their keyboard as well. But the big benefit to this is that the info button right here has all of the categories and keywords and all of this information. Now, there's some of this information that I don't want to show. I don't want my clients seeing my shooting conditions. I don't want them seeing the photo info and all of this stuff right here. Really, all I'm concerned with is having this information right here show, just for the benefit of SEO. So we'll go up to Options, Page Elements, and then we're going to go right here to EXIF data on this. And some of this stuff I thought we could hide. Let's see. Where did we hide this information at? Maybe it wasn't on this one. Let's see. Thumbnails. Oh, you know what? I think I'm seeing that because I'm logged in as the photographer. Let me double check here. Page Elements. Photo Toolbar. Hide. Quick Shot Products. Hide. So let's apply this, and we will check that here in a second. And actually, I think that is an option back here. So let's go back here to the gallery really quick. Let's go to Access, and then let's go to, I don't remember where it's at on the new photos page. I'm still learning all the new photos. Display options right here. So in order to hide all of that EXIF data information, this is in the display options. You're going to uncheck this right here, and then hit save, and that's going to hide all that EXIF data we were seeing earlier. All right, let's click back here. Let me refresh this and take a look. That stuff should be gone now. There we go. Now all that stuff that I didn't want to show is gone. And I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. I like that clients can navigate through with the keyboard button. I also like that it's still showing the categories and keywords over there. And it's still a nice focus on just that image without a bunch of stuff overlaying it. So once you get to this point, if you're happy with the way things look, if you want all of your galleries to look like this, you can go ahead and click this Set as Default button, and that will make this the default settings for all of your galleries. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that your galleries will only open to that photos page if they don't have a price list applied to it, which is why you can do this Save as Default, and you don't have to worry about client galleries going to the photos page, because as soon as there's a price list assigned to the gallery, those galleries will load to either the quick shot page or the visit shot page when the images are clicked, if you have a price list assigned. So this is kind of my recommended setup for setting up your portfolios. That way it presents your images in a nice, clean fashion, and then you still have all of your information sitting there showing so that search engines can read that information and index it and help you rank better on your search results. And as always, anytime you do anything on the back end here, you want to make sure to click this little publish button right here to make sure that those changes go live. So we're going to publish those changes. And sorry if I was a little long-winded today, guys. I wanted to make sure that I got through all of this before jumping off topic and talking about anything else. Wanted to make sure that I got through all of that process just to keep it nice and clean and on point. Now let me check in with you guys on chat and see if you guys have any questions here in chat really quick. All right, so let's see. It looks like Roxanne says, no worries, make him some chicken soup. Yes, I'm not doing well, guys, but thanks for hanging in there with me. Let's see. I thought I saw a question from Roxanne. She said, does that work for Macs as well? Clear cache? Yes, so Roxanne, I'm on a Mac, and guys, anytime you see anything weird online, hands down anywhere, not just with Zenfolio, but on any website, if you're trying to log into your Zenfolio account and you see unknown error, can't log in, or if you're trying to access Facebook and it's just being strange, the first thing that you should try to do is try clearing your browser cache. There are lots of YouTube videos. There's lots of links out there that will tell you how to do it. Just do a quick Google search and say, how do I clear cache for my specific browser? And that way you know how to clear your cache. Now, what I did was, since I was just seeing an error on a specific page, what I did was I just held Shift on my keyboard and then hit the refresh button, or you can do Shift Command R, and that will clear your cache for just that specific page. But if you continue having issues, Roxanne, what you want to do is make sure that you clear your cache for your browser so that it's on all the pages that you visit. It's something that you should do probably regularly. I usually try to do it once a month if I remember. It's kind of like car maintenance, right? Nobody likes to change their oil, but it's one of those things we have to do because eventually all that cache buildup, if you don't have auto delete cache and all that stuff set up, it can cause some strange, weird issues. And honestly, clearing your browser cache or resetting your computer, like 9 times out of 10, I have found fix most of the issues that I experience on my computer or on the internet. All right, great question though, Roxanne. Guys, if you have any questions about Zenfolio and you don't have a YouTube account, because I know that YouTube does ask you to log in to use the chat. So if you're watching this and you have a question and you don't want to log into YouTube to use the chat, there's actually a link in the description below this video that says, I forget what it says. It says questions for the live stream or something like that. If you click on that link, it will take you to a form and you can submit a question and I'll try to answer it on this live stream. For those of you guys who are watching the recorded version of this, we would love to have you come hang out with us live, but I understand that it's not the easiest thing in the world just to drop whatever you're doing Thursday and come hang out and watch a live stream, which is why I appreciate you guys that do that. But there's a link in the description below this video that says questions for next week. And that's how you can submit questions, and I will answer those the following week. Speaking of that, I've got a couple of those questions that I need to answer, so let me jump over and grab that really quick. All right, so this first question here says, and I think this is from Charles was the name. It says, I'd like to add a wedding page with image links to galleries, as well as a couple of wedding videos that I created. Can you add some suggestions? And also, should I embed from YouTube or upload to Zenfolio? So there's a couple of different ways that you could do this. If you want to have one single page that has a couple of wedding images, maybe a wedding video, and you want those wedding images to be links to specific pages, I'm going to suggest that you do this with custom pages in Zenfolio. Because this actually gives you the option to put links to link images to certain galleries within your account. And I'll go through and I'll show you that option in a second. Now, the other thing that it gives you the option to do as well is embed videos. And when you ask about should this be done, should you embed videos from YouTube or upload to Zenfolio, you can do either options. But what you want to keep in mind is that your videos that you upload to Zenfolio, there are going to be some limitations to the file size. I think it's my max file size of 2 gigabytes. The videos can also only be up to 20 minutes in length. So those are some things to keep in mind. If I could get Shannon to throw out the video guidelines link in the chat, that would be awesome. You definitely want to check that link out. But you can also embed from YouTube, which is one of the things that I like doing as well, because what you're creating is SEO, something that's going to benefit your SEO. I can't think of the specific term right now, like a link back or something like that. But basically, you have a video that's out there on YouTube that's now linking to your website, and then your website is linking back to that video. So it creates those links that are really beneficial for your SEO. Can't think of this specific term. That's what I would probably suggest doing here. So let me jump into custom pages, kind of show you this option really quick. It's definitely something that you can check out. And then there's one other way that you could do it using groups, and I'll kind of show you that route as well. But for the specific thing that you're asking for, I would go with a custom page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hover over website right here, and I'm going to right click on custom pages and open this in a new tab. Again, I like working back and forth in tabs rather than having to use the back button. That's just drives me crazy, because there are going to be some things that we need to come back to this page for and reference whenever we're building this custom page. So we're going to go here, and this is where Zenfolio's custom pages. And guys, if you have not used Zenfolio's custom page option yet, it is pretty amazing. There is a lot of different things that you can do. We have videos on the YouTube channel that go over custom pages, how to create custom contact pages, how to create custom contract pages, so contact and contract. And there's also, if you go to whitegoldphotography.com, there is also some demos that you can see of custom pages doing different things. So we're just going to click Add New, and in the custom page title here, I'll just call this Wedding Landing Page. All right, so Wedding Landing Page. We're going to go down here, and you can click down here and do whatever text you want down here. So I'm just going to do, hi, welcome to my page, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, you would put a lot more information in here. I'm just kind of showing you how to use this. And then next, let's say you want to set up a couple of photos that are links to different galleries. I'm going to hit enter a couple of times. One thing to keep in mind about working in a custom page is that enter is double spaced. Shift and enter is single spaced. Keep that in mind. It will save you from wanting to pull your hair out later on when you can't figure out why your text is double spaced. Shift and enter is single spaced. All right, so what we're going to do is create some image links. I'm going to add some images in here and make those images link back to specific galleries or whatever I want them to link to. So I'm going to hit the photo button right here, and let's go find the image that we want. So let's say we want this image right here to link back to our engagements gallery. So I'm going to select that image. We're going to scroll down here, and I just hit that select button. We're going to scroll down here to set options, and this is where we're going to set up the link. So what we want to do is, for this click action right here, we want to change this to either open in gallery, which if you do this option and you choose open in gallery, it's going to open this image in the gallery, which is nice. But if you want the clients to go to the thumbnails page for that gallery, then you don't want to do this option, because you're not wanting to open this image in the gallery. You're just wanting to take them to that thumbnails page. So for that reason, what we're going to do is use go to URL right here. And then this is where having those multiple tabs come in handy, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to this other tab. We're going to jump down here to the engagements gallery, click on it, go to actions, click share. And then what we're going to do is just copy this link to this gallery right here. So I'm going to here, copy and save, jump back to the other tab, and we're going to paste in that URL right here. And now you have an option here. If you want to set that gallery to open up in a new window, you can, or you can just leave it in the same window. My personal rule of thumb for this is that if your link that somebody's clicking on is taking them away from your Zenfolio website or away from their gallery and not providing an easy option for them to get back, I always recommend setting it to open in a new window or a new tab. That's my rule of thumb. Now, since this page that we're creating is kind of a wedding landing page, and then they're going to be taken to the engagements gallery or the wedding gallery that's in our Zenfolio account, I'm okay with that being in the same window because they're not really leaving an area where they might want to get back to. So I'm just going to leave that there. Now next, we're going to go down here to set layout. And this is where you can choose the size of this image. So what I'm going to do is come right here. And we don't want to leave it set to auto fit to width because that's going to make it fit the width of the custom page. And custom pages are 944 pixels wide. So that's going to stretch that image out. Well, it's not going to stretch it, but it's going to make that image go out to fit that 944. We don't want that because it's just going to take over the screen. So we're going to choose an option here. And there are lots of different options to choose from, or you can do a custom size if you know what specific size you want these to be. So let's start off with a large thumbnail. And that's a little big, especially if I have multiple photos. Let's drop it down to a small one. All right. And then what we're going to do is border, I'm going to say none. And then we're just going to click the apply button down here at the bottom, and that's going to insert that. All right, so that has inserted that into the custom page. That is an actual link. Let's go ahead and add another image to this. So let's go here and we'll do one more. And this time we're going to link to the actual weddings gallery right here. We'll choose this photo. Let's go with this one. Let's find a different one. This one. There we go. We'll use this one. And then we're going to come down here to set options. We need to get that URL. So let's jump back over here. We'll go to weddings. And then we're going to click on actions, share, grab the URL for that gallery. Hit save. Go back to the custom page. We're going to say our click action is going to be go to URL. And then we're going to paste in the URL. Go down to set layout, and I'm going to choose medium and no border. And then we'll hit insert down here at the bottom. All right. So now you can see here, it's kind of got these. And did I change this? Did I do the wrong size? Maybe I had this one small. I can't remember. Let me hover over really quick. I did have it small. Okay, so if you ever want to change the setting, you just hover over, hit edit, and now I can change this to be small, which is what I wanted in the first place. All right, so those images are side by side now. Now, I want to get these images centered up. I don't want them to be off awkwardly over to the side of the page. So what I'm going to do is just select these two images like that and hit center. Okay, so another option, let's embed a video on here. Now, I'm going to do this from YouTube. So what you want to do is just, let me go grab a video link really quick. Let me go to File, New Incognito Window, and then I'm just going to go to YouTube really quick. And we will grab a video link to embed. So let me just go and grab a video link. All right, so here we are right here on YouTube. And we're actually looking at the live stream right now. Let me just click on this. And I'm going to go share and grab the embed code for the live stream right here and just copy this. So I'm going to hit copy. All right. Close this window out or just minimize it. And now there is an embed option right up here, guys. You can use this option, click in here and paste the embed code. However, sometimes it does a little bit of weird things and formats things funny that I don't really like. So what I'm going to suggest that you do if you're using an embed code, click below your images down here and hit source. Now, I want to give you guys a big disclaimer. When you're editing the source code of the custom page, this is something that Zenfolio does allow you to do. However, it's seen as custom code, and if there's a problem with the code and it doesn't work, unfortunately, we can't really offer any technical support to that. And chances are we'll just tell you to remove the custom coding. But it is an option that you can do. So I'm pasting that embed code from YouTube right here. And then we're just going to go back up, uncheck source. And now there should be a video right here. I'm going to click on it and center that up by hitting the center button. And let's take a look at this page, see how it looks and functions. So we're going to go down here to save and preview. And here is our wedding page here. So let me just get myself out of the way. Here's my really boring text. And here are the two images. And if I click on this one, it's going to take me to that gallery. Here's that engagement gallery. We go back. If I click on this one, it's going to take me to that wedding gallery. So you guys can see how that works. And notice how clean it is, nothing overlaying on the image. It looks just like it did when we set the other one up because it's using the default settings. All right, so let's go back, and here is that embedded video right here. We click on it, you're going to see me talking with some kind of delay. So this must be about where you guys are at right here. All right, and so that's how you can set up a custom page to kind of be a landing page and have some different options. Now, there's a lot of different things you can do with custom pages, so definitely check out whitegoldphotography.com. I'm going to throw this link out to you guys in the chat really quick so you guys have it. Just throw that out there. Check this page out because, like I said, there are some custom page demos up here that you can check out. And some of these demo pages even have what's the word I'm looking for? Code that you can copy to recreate this page. So if you want to create a custom testimonial page, you can copy the code here to do that. All right, guys, we've got about 7 more minutes left. Hopefully, Charles, that answered your question and showed you exactly how to do what you were looking to do. From what I read, that's exactly what I think you're wanting to do, is set up that landing page. So hopefully that helped. Let me jump back here really quick and try to get in a couple of more questions. Let's see. I got a question from Doug. Doug gave me some feedback on the last stream. So Doug, if you're watching the live stream or you're watching the recording, definitely appreciate all of that awesome feedback that you gave me. Don't have time to read it all, but it was great feedback. And so let's see. Some of the stuff that he said that he did have questions was going over the prep work. So in the very first segment of this, the very first or part 1 of creating a website that wows, I talked about doing some prep work for your website, and Doug would like to see more info on that. And he is also asking for a PDF document. So great suggestions, Doug. What I'm going to work on doing is putting together a PDF guide to getting started in Zenfolio with some references to videos and a cheat sheet so it can take you to different spots with some written text and then some links to video segments showing you how to do exactly what it is. So I really appreciate the time that you took, Doug, into putting that comment together. It was awesome, and great suggestions that you put in there. And I'm hoping that I can get something like that created. I can't promise you I'll have it by tomorrow. Can't promise that I'll be in the office tomorrow. So Cheryl, if you're watching this, I might be calling because I'm not feeling good. But great feedback, and I will definitely work on getting that put together. Let me see if I can get one more email question in really quick before we are out of time. We do only have about 5 more minutes. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button. We do the live streams every week, and this way, if you're subscribed, you'll get notifications when we go live, and also when we put out new video tutorials. Now, also, if you're a podcast person, you can go to iTunes and search in the iTunes podcast directory for Zenfolio video tutorials, and you can subscribe to us there. That way you get notifications right on your phone or your iPad whenever these new videos and the recorded version of the live stream comes out. All right, let me grab one more email question. I think I can make it through this one. Let's see. Where did it go? Down here. The visit shop option is confusing for my clients. They think that it will show them more products, but it does not. Can this be turned off? I do like Quick Shop much better, as it's much more streamlined. Absolutely, you can turn off Quick Shop. Actually, you can absolutely turn off Quick Shop, or I'm sorry, not Quick Shop, but the shop page. And so in order to show you how to do this, I'm going to do something that I would not advise you doing. I'm going to put a price list on my portfolio gallery here really quick, just so I can show you guys these couple of options. So we're going to click here. And let's see if I can do this in 4 minutes. Click here. We're going to go to price list. We're going to say allow ordering, and we're just going to pick this demo price list right here. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and open this in a new tab. We're going to jump up here and we're going to load this into customize view. So I'm just going to hit edit page. And so let me show you guys really quick the two different shopping experiences that are available. Now the buy button's here, and when we click this, it's not going to go to the photos page anymore. As I mentioned, when there's a price list applied, the gallery automatically goes to the shopping page. And so these are the two options that this question's about. There's the Quick Shop option down here. I'm a huge fan of the Quick Shop. It's so much faster and much more streamlined. And then there's the Visit Shop option, which is really nice for doing things like in-home sales, or if you're working with a client that that's like a high maintenance client where you want to do, you want to be talking to them on the phone and kind of helping them with the order process. The Quick Shop or the Visit Shop option is really great for that as well. Now, if you want to control which options your client sees, that's going to be up here in options. So you can go here, uncheck use default, and then go to shopping setup. And you can say, I want to use Quick Shop only. And then that will remove the Visit Shop option over here. So now you can see the Visit Shop option's gone. And all of the products that I offer are shown right here in my Quick Shop section right here. And this is the route that I prefer, guys. And I really cannot stress enough how great having a very slim and streamlined price list is for a couple of options. One, this price list is super simple. Nobody's going to get too overwhelmed looking at these options. But if you start out with a small and slim price list, later on down the road, you can add quote unquote new products to this price list and give your clients a reason to come back and hopefully spend more money with you. But this is how you turn off that option. So if you want this to be the only options that your clients see, you want to turn that option off, save it as default, apply that, and then publish your changes right up here. Now, if you guys want to go through and really learn the difference between Visit Shop and Quick Shop, how to control those products and different things like that, there's a video on our channel called Setting the Shopping Section of Your Site Up. I think that's the title. Don't quote me, but it's something along those lines. Definitely do a search and watch that video. It will show the different options and explain all of that to you. And it'll also show you how to control what's shown here on your Quick Shop, which just a personal preference. I try to put the products that I have the highest profit margin on up to the top, because that's the options that I want my clients seeing first. So hopefully that answers your question about how to do the Quick Shop versus the Visit Shop option. Let me jump back to my dashboard here really quick and just get back here really quick. All right. Well, unfortunately, guys, we are out of time. I do want to say thank you to everybody who came and hang out with me today on the live stream. Doug, Shanna, thanks for hanging out and moderating and helping. Roxanne, let's see if I make sure I didn't miss anybody up here. Kapil and Mike, thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with us. Hopefully this was helpful. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button so you get notified when we go live and we publish new video tutorials. And until next week, I hope you all have a